Small chance of success. What are we waiting for?
Fellas, I feel this is my lucky day.
Brilliant.
Hey, and welcome to another episode of Rankum. Today we're going to be talking about top 12 Clint Eastwood directed movies. One that at the start of this week I'd only seen 3. It's gone up to 11 since then.
Wow.
But that's not 12, Malcolm. We need 12 for this list.
Or
Hey, I
more,
mean-
we'll see.
There's good, but it means there could be at least one that I've not seen on make it.
Right.
But that being said, I've got a bunch of great people here. I've got Austin. Austin, how's it going?
Oh, I'm doing great. And after this episode's over, I'm going to need all of you on the panel to get off my lawn.
Also, we've got Stephen. Stephen, how's it going?
It's going well. Yep. I've seen a little bit more than 11. So, but yeah, there's some. Yeah, he's made a handful of great movies and some really solid ones. A few misfires, but overall, he's a great director.
Also, here we've got Chad. Chad, how's it going?
Hey, it's going great. Anytime I can jump on Rankum and rank some stuff with you guys, I have a great time. And Clint Eastwood he directs a lot of stuff. So let's see what this list is going to look like. I'm excited.
And last but not least, we've got Jacob. Jacob, how's it going?
It's going good. I'm glad to be here. I'm much like Malcolm before. When he asked me if I wanted to be on, I had only seen 5, and I am now at 13. So I'm. We'll see. We'll see if any come up that I haven't seen. But yeah.
I'll admit that I do have a few that I haven't seen, especially of his older stuff.
But with that being said, how the show works is we're going to go round round the panel, and each person's going to nominate a movie they think belongs on the top 12 list, and everyone else will say yes or no to it, and if it gets 3 yeses, then it makes the list. But Austin, what is the first movie you're going to bring up?
Oh, me first. Fantastic. I'm going to nominate a movie I bet I'm the only one who's seen. So here we go. Let's start off just right. All right. So I'm a big Clint Eastwood Western guy. I love me some Clint Eastwood Westerns. It's my favorite genre he dabbles in. And way back in 1973, the man himself directed his first Western coming off the Man with No Name trilogy. Back in 1973, a little movie called High Plains Drifter. And High Plains Drifter, his first American Western, helming himself, really spectacular Western. Impeccably shot, a very haunting, kind of spooky score. Literally, the premise is he's the stranger, inevitably kind of a man with no name, strolls into town, helps this little town called Lago take care of some outlaws, and they literally, in the end of the movie, paint the town red to where they're entering hell for the final battle. There's a lot of great fan theories about the stranger being a vengeful spirit, not even being a real human, which makes it a unique Western in that he might not even be a real person, as he kind of fades in and out at the distance at the beginning and the end of the movie. Really cool stuff. Great little character actor cast from a bunch of Westerns. So I'm going to nominate his first foray into directing American Westerns, the absolutely underrated and overlooked High Plains Drifter from 1973.
Stephen, what do you say about High Plains Drifter?
I actually did look for this movie. Unfortunately, it's not on any of the streaming sites. It's not on Hulu, it's not on Netflix, it's not on HBO Max. So I wasn't able to check this one out.
Chad, what do you say about High Plains Drifter?
I don't know. I mean, Austin might be right on this one because I also have not seen this one. I know that Clint Eastwood usually makes a damn good Western, but Western isn't usually my big foray. It's not my big forte. So, I haven't seen it. I have to abstain, but I really want to start checking out some of his Westerns.
Jacob, what are your thoughts on High Plains Drifter?
My thoughts are I need to see this movie.
It's all going exactly according to plan, just as I planned.
This is also one that I haven't seen. This is one I wanted to see. I actually tried to find it for this, but it's not streaming anywhere, and it wasn't at the library to rent out. So yeah. But if that we move over to Stephen. Stephen, what is your first nomination?
I'm going to go with a movie that I don't know. Austin may have seen it. Everyone else, I don't know if they all have seen it. I think it's probably his most underrated movie. It's a movie that is rich in atmosphere, great performances from John Cusack and Kevin Spacey, and it's Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil.
Chad, what do you say about Midnight in the Garden and the Good of Evil?
I haven't ever heard of this movie, so there you go. Sorry.
Jacob, what are your thoughts on Midnight?
We're off to a great start tonight.
we are off to a great start tonight. I haven't seen this one either.
Yeah, luckily we don't have a drinking game. Drink is if someone says they haven't seen the movie, because I've not seen it either.
Good thing it's just water.
Austin, what do you?
Yeah, no, I actually have seen it. It's been a minute since I have seen it, but it's a pretty solid movie. I don't know if when I was putting together my list, I put it on the list just because stuff like High Plains Drifter took up my list, and I didn't really consider Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil. But if it's not going to get in, it could get in. I'd vote a slight yes. I think it's a pretty solid movie. It's one of his better '90s outings, and there are definitely worse movies on this list. Hopefully none of which will come up. But all Kevin Spacey, controversy aside, he's really good in it, and Eastwood's direction's good. So I'll give it a slight yes. I'll back up Steven on this one, even though none of you guys have seen High Plains Drifter. Will back me up on that one. That's fine.
Unfortunately. Yeah, it's not making the list anyway. Chad, what's your first movie going to bring?
Yeah, we're going to be off to a good one.
Okay, maybe we can just get all those out of the way quick, but mine ideally isn't one of those. I'm going to go with one that actually had to grow on me, but is now one of my favorite movies, and oh my God, he directed the shit out of this, and I love this movie. It's $1 Million Baby. This actually won Best Picture. And I think it deserved it. This movie has like some of the best performances, especially from what's her face? Forgetting.
Hilary Swank.
Hilary Swank. Thank you. Hilary Swank. I just love like the determination of her character when she comes. Everyone doubts her, and then she slowly builds herself up into what she set out to do, and then she has this like tragic downfall, but like the build up of the relationship between her and Clint Eastwood's character is just so great that he's like, girls can't box and, stuff like that for the longest time. And then they finally, get to where he has to help her do something. Spoiler alert. He has to help her do something that is one of the most intimate kind of like, but dark things that you ever have to do at the end of the movie. Actually, I won't say what he has to do just in case you haven't seen it. It's definitely one of the best movies. Holy shit. When I first saw it, I remember going, what the hell did I just watch? That was depressing as hell. And then I had to rewatch it, and now I just think it's beautiful. $1 Million Baby.
Jacob, what do you say about $1 Million Baby?
Oh, this is an easy yes. I'll echo everything Chad said. And then shout out Morgan Freeman, for his supporting performance. I mean, he won Best Supporting Actor for this year, and well deserved. Yeah, the performances in this movie are great. The ending, it's dark, it's depressing, but it's
heart-wrenching.
It's so good. Yeah, easy yes.
Yeah, this is the easy yes for me as well. Like $1 Million Baby is one of those was number one out of the movies I'd seen before the start of this week. It was passed by something else. I watched other movies this week. We'll be getting to that eventually. But yeah, it's easiest to me. Austin, you'll probably be talking about this on tournament fights coming up. But what do you thought of $1 Million Baby?
Yeah, no, totally. It'll definitely be, on tournament tier ranker fights very soon, especially tier ranker for combat sports. But yeah, $1 Million Baby's an easy yes. I mean, it's one that won the best picture, so obviously it's a shoe-in for this list. But he could have easily made a Rocky clone, with a female. It could have easily been a movie like that, but instead it's a very human, touching, and sad story. And yet again, I'll be like Chad. I won't spoil where it goes. But where it goes is heartbreaking, and it's a left turn you don't really see coming, especially if you don't know what's coming at the beginning. But it's definitely heartbreaking. The direction is impeccable. The fact that Eastwood's able to give the performance that he gives, as well as Hillary in front of the camera, while still directing the shit out of this movie, behind the camera, is a real testament to what he can do as a director when he's on top of his game. So yeah, it's an easy yes for $1 Million Baby.
Stephen, what are your thoughts on $1 Million Baby?
I'm not as big on it as most people are, but I do think it's an excellent movie, and I would have said yes. And everyone talks about Hilary Swank's performance, but I think actually Clint Eastwood gives one of his best performances in this movie too.
Agreed.
Oh, and shout out Jay Baruchel.
Oh yeah.
You're great, $1 Million Baby. Oh, thank you.
My only complaint about the movie, though, was I wasn't really a big fan of all this stuff with Hilary Swank's family.
I actually loved. I thought that was really they're so terrible. All right.
Well, we do have one viewer, so it might be Jay Baruchel for all we know. Jacob, what is your first nomination?
I've been debating on which one I wanted to bring up first. It was going to be $1 Million Baby. But I think I'll bring up 2000's Space Cowboys. This is another one I got to for the first time this week, and I absolutely loved this movie. I thought it was really good. Clint Eastwood, Tommy Lee Jones, Donald Sutherland, James Garner, James Cromwell. They're all great in this movie. I love the comedy in it. I think it really works. And then I think all the training stuff is really great. I think once they get into space, it kind of, for me personally, just the enjoyment level goes down a little bit. But I think all the training stuff at NASA is really good. I think Tommy Lee Jones and Clint Eastwood are really great together. I think Donald Sutherland is just hilarious in this movie. So yeah, Space Cowboys. I'll nominate that.
Yeah, I remember when I heard about the title of this movie, I kept half expecting that Clint Eastwood's follow-up movie to this would be called Maurice, because of a famous song. Some people call me Space Cowboys, some people call me Maurice.
Gangster of Love.
But I think I've seen this a long time ago. I just don't remember it if I have. So I'll probably give it a slight no. But yeah, Austin, what do you say about Space Cowboys?
Yeah, I was actually rewatching Space Cowboys before we went live. I was about an hour and a half in because I saw it in the theater. I just hadn't seen it in a long time. But man, it's a lot of fun. It's really entertaining. I think if there's going to be a couple of movies of straight popcorn mainstream entertainment, I think this is one of his better sort of mainstream just popcorn films, and it was a big hit, and there's a reason why. All the chemistry between all the main characters are great. It's not one you would immediately think Eastwood was directing at first, but then when you see that, you're like, oh, okay, he directed kind of a space movie. That's awesome, and it kind of expands his range. So yeah, I'm actually going to say it's on my list. I'm going to say yes for Space Cowboys.
Stephen, what do you say about Space Cowboys?
It's on my list too. It's less goofy, less bombastic, geriatric version of Armageddon.
Armageddon, right?
It's a lot of fun.
Chad, what do you say about Space Cowboys?
Oh man, geriatric in space.
Armageddon,
I haven't seen this one, but now I kind of want to. But
you have to. It's great.
I remember back in the day seeing the trailers all the time, but I could not tell you really what this is about, other than people go into space. I don't know, but all the high lauding of this film. Jacob said he saw it for the first time and really really liked it. So I'm down to check it out. But no, I have to abstain. Sorry.
It's fun.
It's on HBO Max.
Cool.
Yeah, it is. A lot of his movies are actually.
That's because he works with Warner Brothers a lot.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I watched 6 of them this week.
We don't have HBO Max, but at least 6 of his movies are on Netflix for me, so that's where I watch most of mine.
Right.
And that being said, my first nomination is one of those movies, and it's Richard Jewell. This is probably one of his more recent movies, but this is one that I didn't know what to expect. I've heard a lot about this. I've heard a lot of people saying it should have been nominated for Oscars and stuff, and I absolutely agree with them actually, because this was a really great movie, and Paul Waterhouse was great in this, and like all the acting was great, and the movie itself actually had a lot of heart to it, and just seeing what this character kind of went through. So yeah, Richard Jewell is what I'm bringing up. Awesome, what you say about it.
Yeah, no, this one's on my list too, and this is one of the ones that surprised the hell out of me. He's done a lot of biopics and things like that. I think what makes this cool is that it's just kind of a regular dude with this kind of crazy story. Like you said, Paul Walter Hauser, coming off of I, Tonya, I think he's so great in that movie, and he's really great in this one too. Kathy Bates is tremendous as his mom, like that final speech she gives, talking to the media is wonderful. And Sam Rockwell, man, who doesn't love Sam Rockwell? And come on, playing his lawyer, he's great. And Richard Jewell is actually a really surprising kind of underrated gem, I would say, one of the ones he's done in the last 10 years or so. So it's on my list. I think Richard Jewell is really underrated and really great. So I'm going to say yes to Richard Jewell.
Stephen, what do you say about Richard Jewell?
So, as I said in the chat, I just saw this movie for the first time this morning, and after watching it, I don't know why it took me so long to see it, because it's actually really great, and it's pretty powerful, and just makes you angry a lot of times, and that's the scene where Sam Rockwell, says to him, "Why aren't you as angry about this as I am?" is like such a gut-wrenching moment. And it's definitely a yes for me.
Chad, what do you say about Richard Jewell?
Yeah, I actually saw this for the first time last night, and at the beginning I wasn't sure if I was gonna love it, but oh man, I fell in love with this movie. Like I was going off. So when Steven said like you get angry, if you have a heart, you get angry at this movie. Like, and I told the wife, I was like, I'm not gonna go off on this show tomorrow, but basically, just like all the performances, everything Austin said, I just mirror. He said it perfectly. I just love all the performances. Yeah, especially Paul, Kathy,
Paul
and Sam Rockwell, dude. I love Sam Rockwell in pretty much everything. But yeah, Paul, especially that scene, at the deposition or whatever, when he has to sit there and go like, you guys could really be going after the real person right now. And, people are going to ask themselves now, should I report this? Should I say something? Because I don't want to be another Richard Jewell. And like that hit me. I was like, okay, this movie's brilliant, and it has brilliant writing, and it's just everything about it is just so amazing. I really love this movie. And I just can't say enough good things about it. So I adore this movie.
Jacob, what do you thoughts on
that Rockwell gives?
Yeah, I finished this like 3.5 hours ago, something like that, and I absolutely loved it. I didn't expect it to go as high on my list as it did. I think all the performances are great. I think Kathy Bates' speech is just great. It's heartbreaking. It's wonderful. And then towards the end, when Richard Jewell, when he just breaks down in the diner because it's finally over, that part really got to me. Easy yes. I don't know why I waited so long to see it either. I agree this should have been nominated. At least Kathy Bates. I think she could have easily been supporting actress for 2019. But
and I hated John Hamm in this more than I did in Baby Driver. Holy shit!
Like when John Hamm's still giving him the stink eye at the end of the movie, even when they get like the official papers like exonerated. Oh, yeah, exactly, yeah.
The only thing about the movie that doesn't really work is Olivia Wilde's character. I did not buy her transformation.
Her arc, yeah, a little. I'll give you that.
But yeah, Stephen, you were actually correct. Kathy Bates did get Best Supporting Actress at the Oscars. She was the only nomination that it got.
I meant she should have won. Not.
Yeah.
Paul should have got a nomination too, though. I feel like.
I mean, Richard Jewell should have got more nominations. Full stop.
Agreed.
But that, but this is not our Oscar podcast. That was on earlier. Austin, what are your thoughts on what is your next nomination?
Oh, right. If I couldn't get High Plains Drifter, well, then damn it, I better get Unforgiven, the movie that actually got him a Best Picture and a Best Director, and get his more well-known Western. Unforgiven, 1992. Clint Eastwood playing sort of the aging outlaw that has to ride back into town for one last job to help some people out. He's absolutely tremendous in this. It's definitely a story. It's one of those movies that kind of wraps up his Western career so nicely, trying to stay away from the life, but being kind of dragged back in, as the Godfather 3 Al Pacino would say. But Gene Hackman is great as the kind of corrupt sheriff in this one. Again, another collaboration with Morgan Freeman. It's shot gorgeously. It has a great score. I'm going to nominate, 1992's Unforgiven. It's probably one of the great American Westerns. So if I can't get High Plains Drifter as a Western, I better damn well get Unforgiven. So give it to me, guys.
Stephen, what do you say about Unforgiven?
Well, we talked about John Hamm being an asshole. I mean, Gene Hackman is
he's a big time asshole in this movie.
Great evil character, and I have this on my list. It's actually number 2 on my list, so I'll definitely give it a yes.
Chad, what do you say about Unforgiven?
Yeah, as I actually work on my Western, catch up for not being a big Western fan, I have seen Unforgiven. I bought the 4K at a pretty high price back in the day when you couldn't really find it, and I adored this movie. Absolutely. I feel like the direction, everything about it, the performances, and just I love the fact that it was like. Wasn't it? This was the story about the sex worker who got assaulted and stuff like that.
Yeah, she gets like carved up with a knife at the beginning of the movie. Yes. It's pretty brutal. Yeah, it's very very brutal.
And, I loved like all the brutality was cool in this, I guess, but like I loved like the end scene, like when he goes back and you're just like, what's he gonna do? And it just everything just seems so deliberate. And he's like, like hitching up for the last time, just like going back, and you're like, oh, is this like a crazy like revenge? Like, what's he gonna do? And it's just like I remember just him like sitting down and like slamming down the shot glass or whatever he did. It's been a while, but I just remember like all of that stuff about it, and it was just I was so enthralled with what was gonna happen next. And I love Unforgiven. Yes.
Jacob, what do you say about Unforgiven?
Yeah, I actually went into this movie not knowing anything about it other than it was a Western. That one, Best Picture. So I was ready for a good movie, and that's what I got. I didn't expect it to start off with a girl getting her face cut up. So I was like, all right, is that what we're in for? What kind of movie are we in for? And then it gets brutal. Gene Hackman, when he just starts beating the crap out of English Bob, like shout out to Richard Harris. I thought, okay, this is gonna be a brutal movie, and it turned out to be that. I'll echo everything everyone else said. Easy yes.
I watched Unforgiven for the first time last year at the request of Kurt Kolakowski. There's like he was like I remember doing a post going, I'm going to watch a whole bunch of movies for the first time. What movies should I see? And one of the Kirk suggestions was Unforgiven. It's like, this is a must watch for anyone. And I watched it. I loved it. It was going to be a yes for me as well. So I mean, and it was pretty easy. So Unforgiven makes the list. Stephen, we move to you.
Okay, I will go with a movie that I liked the first time I saw it, but I actually loved it even more the second time I saw it, which is Sully. And great performance from Tom Hanks. Just really interesting story of when the miracle on the Hudson, I guess they called it. When he lands the plane in the Hudson River, and the whole thing at the end with him talking it's not a court, but whatever they call it. But yeah, Sully. I think Sully is one of his best movies, and I thought it was underrated, but I was looking at several lists, and people actually do include it in their lists of high in their list and ranking his movies. So I guess it's not underrated, but yeah, I love it. So yeah, that's Sully is my next pick.
Chad, what do you say about Sully?
Yeah, I remember watching this, and I remember being actually kind of unenthusiastic about it while I was watching it. I don't know if I like it as much as Steven does. I'm glad that he really loves it. I might owe a rewatch to it at some point, I'll say. I think it's probably a really decent telling of that event, but I don't remember thinking like, oh, this is top tier Clint Eastwood or anything like that. But I don't think it necessarily needs to be to make the list. I might throw it on there and then just rank it a little lower or something like that. So I'll give it a yes. I think it was a decent film.
Jacob, what do you say about Sully?
This is one I tried to get around to this week, but I just didn't have time.
Yeah, I really love Sully. This is one of those movies which I didn't know what to expect. It was like I had no idea what this whole actual story was until I saw when I knew this movie was getting made. But so I was going into this movie not knowing about the true story and all that. And I really love it. Like Tom Hanks was great in the role. And yeah, it's a easy yes for me. Awesome. What would you have said about Sully?
I actually just watched Sully this afternoon for the first time. I missed it in theaters, but I checked it out, and I love Sully. I thought the Sully was great, and when I was putting my list together right before the show, I was kind of my list was hovering around 11 or 12, and this one kind of scooted in last second. So I'm going to give a yes to Sully. I think Tom Hanks is great. Who steals this movie for me is Aaron Eckhart. I am reminded of so much every time I see him of how great he is, how underutilized he is in Hollywood. He's great as Sully's first officer in this movie, and I really like investigation scenes and like depositions and people going back and forth on stuff. Maybe that's why I love The Social Network so much. That's like half of that movie, but I love that kind of stuff in movies, and I really loved how Eastwood put this one together. So I'm actually going to give a yes for Sully. I really enjoyed it.
That's Sully makes the list, and I think it's on Chad to nominate. So Chad, what are you going to bring up?
Absolutely. Well, I'll go ahead and throw this one out. We'll see how everybody thinks. I think this is pretty much usually a really lauded film. It's Mystic River. I remember watching this film, and it was like it's one of the type of films that I really love, like a kind of a mystery, and it's just like who did this horrible thing. and you're trying to figure it out, and then I think at the end they kind of get the wrong person, and you're just like really just kind of like no, that's not right, and then it has an ending, but I won't get into spoilers here. However, I just really love the performances, Sean Penn, Tim Robbins, and I just love Tim Robbins in pretty much everything. He's great, but I just think this is a really dark crime mystery film from Clint Eastwood that I think he just handled so well. I don't know who wrote the script, but it's just so good, and it's been long enough. I think I should revisit this one, but I love this movie.
Jacob, what do you say about Mystic River?
I love this movie. I think Mystic River is great. I think the performances from Sean Penn, Tim Robbins, and Kevin Bacon are all fantastic. I think the scene where he's asking, is that his daughter? When Sean Penn is asking, is that my daughter? It's heartbreaking. This is an easy yes.
I haven't got around to seeing this yet. But yes, there's not much I can say about it really. Austin, what do you say about Mystic River?
No, this is definitely a must-have for this list. It's definitely a yes for me. Mystic River is a gut punch of a movie. If you were to do a double feature of this and $1 Million Baby, you would be completely wiped out and depressed at the end of it. Like you would just be in a very, very dark place. Which is why you should watch Space Cowboys right after it, just to get your hopes on the world back up. Mystic River. There's things in this movie, turns that it takes that you don't expect. Much like real life, it does not turn out the way you expect sometimes, which sometimes is what happens in real life. Tim Robbins is great. Sean Penn is great. It was written by Brian Helgeland, just to answer Chad's question, who did like LA Confidential and 42 and Man on Fire and A Knight's Tale. But he's a solid writer. It's based on a novel, but he directed it, or he wrote it really well. This is an easy yes for Mystic River. Yeah, it's a really, really good movie.
And Stephen, what are your thoughts on Mystic Pizza? No.
Mystic Pizza? No, not
That's
quite.
a very different movie.
Close.
Mystic River, I think it's his best movie, actually. And it's not just a murder mystery, it's also very much a tragedy because of this horrific event that happened in their childhood and how that has affected them through as adults. And it's just a fantastic movie. Even though who ended up doing it, and the how and the why is the only part of the movie that I wasn't crazy on, but it's a very small complaint, and otherwise an absolutely fantastic movie.
He has a knack for these dark endings that just make you go, that's how it ends?
Yeah.
But everybody mentioned everyone else, but also Kevin Bacon is great in this movie too.
Mm-hmm. The Bacon's always great. He sizzles on the screen, you know what I'm saying?
But Jacob,
Waka Waka.
But Jacob, we're on you. What is your next nomination?
I'm looking at the list. We got a space action sort of comedy. We got sports. We got his western. We got his mystery biopic. Let's go romance, and let's go with The Bridges of Madison County.
Hey.
I really enjoyed another one I watched for the first time this week. I actually watched it this morning, and I think it's great. I think it's a simple movie, with two great performances from Meryl Streep and Clint Eastwood, and with the kids reading her. I don't want to call it a diary, but it's like a journal, just retelling the events of. I'm already forgetting their names. Francesca and Richard, I believe.
Robert.
Robert.
Yeah.
I knew it started with an R. But kind
it's all good.
retelling the events of their affair, and I think it's really good. I thought the performances were great. I think it shows the range that Clint Eastwood has as a director, and I think it helps when you're working with somebody who's as talented as Meryl Streep. So yeah, The Bridges of Madison County will be my next nomination.
But yeah, I also watched Bridges of Madison County for the first time this week, and I thought it was and definitely a really good movie. I think the bridges are a great performance as a bridge, but but yeah,
all the bridges are great.
Oh yeah,
Malcolm.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I honestly have no idea what Madison County is, if it's a real county or, but the movie itself, like Clint Eastwood and Meryl Streep was great in the movie, and this is one I didn't know if I was going to like it or not, but this is one of those ones that I've been gravitating to more dramas lately. So I mean, and this is one that just came out of nowhere that I'm glad I've now finally seen, because it's one I've heard a lot about. Austin, what are your thoughts on Bridges of Madison County?
Yeah, no, this one's actually on my list, surprisingly. You got to give one for the ladies here, Jacob, because the ladies love this movie. And you know what? We should throw them a bone, too, for the Bridges of Madison County. It was a monster hit at the time. A lot of wives tricked their husbands to see in this movie. And you know what? Good on them, because who doesn't want to watch Clint Eastwood soaping up outside while Meryl Streep watches him from a window? I mean, come on. He's a tall drink of water in this movie at 65 years old, so, yeah, who wouldn't fall in love with Clint Eastwood? But let me tell you, Bridges of Madison County is good stuff. It's a little long, I will say, for the material, like some of these movies are, but it's still good, and I think it's deserving of being on this list. You got to have kind of a romance movie on here. Clint Eastwood didn't do a ton of those, so you gotta throw his best one on here. So yeah, I'll give a yes to Bridges of Madison County.
And Stephen, what are your thoughts on Bridges of Madison County?
So this is actually going to be my next nomination. Look, I still haven't seen Sophie's Choice. So when I say what I'm about to say, it's because of that. But I actually think this is probably Meryl Streep's best performance. It's just a beautifully made movie. I've always loved Eastwood's unhurried, deliberately paced style of filmmaking, and it suits this movie really well too, because it allows the relationship between Streep and Eastwood to progress naturally and not at all ever feel rushed or anything.
And Ben Chad, what would you have said about Bridges of Madison County?
Absolutely. Well, I have one fact check from Malcolm here. It was filmed in Madison County, Iowa. It is a real place. And then I also have another kind of fun fact that I found. Apparently, when Francesca says the line, "Or should we just fuck on the linoleum one last time?" that gave it an R rating, and then Clint Eastwood appealed to give it the PG-13 rating. So they
you can get one.
Rating.
You can get one.
Yeah, you can get one, but the context maybe. But yeah. I agree with Austin. And my only kind of negative is that it did seem a little long, but in the fact that it was it's like too much kissing. Where I was like, I like a good romance myself. I'm a sensitive guy. I can say that, but. I was just sitting there like, okay, do we really need another one of these makeout sessions? And I was like, I guess so. Some people really, really like this, especially back in the 90s. It's probably all they had. But I will say, I towards the end started to really like this movie. I really liked the relationship between them, even though I was kind of torn. I was like, well, I mean, she's having an affair, and she even says like her husband's like, kind of a good guy, like he's like not really like a bad guy or anything. So I'm just like, well, I'm kind of torn, but I like movies that kind of challenge stuff like that a lot of times. And exactly what other people have said, Clint Eastwood is this really like man's man kind of manly guy doing westerns and stuff like that. It's interesting to see another side of him in like a romance film, and doing a romance film, and it's like something you wouldn't expect from him. So kind of cool. And I did like Meryl Streep's performance. That she did that accent the whole time.
Chad, about every 10 years, you have to have an older folks romance. We had On Golden Pond about 10 years before that. You had this, and then you got to have like the Best Exotic Marigold Hotel. About every 10 years, we're due for one of these, a little something for the older ladies.
So.
Well, it's kind of similar. It's kind of similar to Unfaithful in that Richard Gere is a good guy, but
a little bit older,
Diane Lane still has her affair with.
Yeah.
I mean, Best Exotic Marigold Hotel is actually pretty good, but
I didn't say it was bad. I just said we needed one of those movies about every 10 years.
But that being said, when Chad was talking, I really wished I had the clip of Fred Savage from The Princess Bride going, this is a kissing movie.
Yeah, that's a kissing movie. It sure is.
I thought you were going to cut to a clip of Fred Savage saying something about fucking on the linoleum floor.
I mean, I don't have that. I don't have that clip either. But but that being said, it's on me for the next nomination, and I'm going to go to another one which kind of came out of nowhere because, so to speak, when it came to Oscar ceremony, because no one was really talking about this movie. And then all of a sudden, it got nominated in Best Picture at the Oscars one year. And I'm talking about American Sniper. This is one that that made it one of the highest grossing movies in January because it got so much love at the Oscars, and everyone wanted to finally see what it was about because they could. And this is one of those. This is a raw movie. This is one of those movies which kind of maybe respect Chris Pratt as an actor a little bit because it's kind of a serious Chris Pratt role. We've also got Bradley Cooper in there as well. But this is one of those movies which I didn't know what to expect when I watched it this week. But this is one that, once again, I knew I was going to have to watch eventually because it's an Oscar-nominated movie, and I do want to try and watch as many of those movies as I can. But American Sniper is fun, but yeah. I actually don't remember much about it now, but I'm bringing it up because I don't have much left. Austin, what do you say about
I was going to say, I think you're confusing American Sniper with Zero Dark 30 with the Chris Pratt thing, because Chris Pratt is not in American Sniper. Bradley Cooper is. Chris Pratt was one of the SEAL Team 6 guys. But regardless of that, American Sniper is really solid. This one's on my list, so I'll definitely give it a yes. But yeah, it's Clint Eastwood taking on kind of a modern war film. I might get to another type of war film here in just a minute, but yeah, it's really, really good. Kind of like the accent that Bradley Cooper's kind of doing in the movie. That kind of Texas, sticking his lip out. Kind of, talking like Chris Kyle kind of talk like. And regardless of Chris Kyle's more dubious things he put in his book, I'll still vote yes for American Sniper because I still think the movie's really good and Bradley Cooper's really good. So I'll give a yes to Sniper.
Stephen, what are your thoughts on American Sniper?
So I've seen almost all of Eastwood's movies from the 90s to present, except for one or two, except for like two, and this is one of those two.
Chad, what do you say about American Sniper?
All right, so I remember seeing this in the theater. I liked it fine enough. I didn't love it or anything. I thought it was pretty intense at a lot of moments and well made for the most part. I remember when the meme came out about the fake baby, and that was pretty hilarious for a while. But then also just kind of hearing about, not to get too political, but hearing about a lot about Chris Kyle and how he really was in real life, and people lauding this guy as a hero, and hearing about things that he might have said, exactly what Austin alluded to, kind of made me soften on the movie a little bit. I'm like, do I really want to support this kind of thing here a little bit, and then also like a whole thing about people being mad at Bradley Cooper when they find out he's a Democrat, and I'm like, he's a Hollywood actor. Like, what are you thinking? But yeah, all that aside, even though it softens on the movie, I'm in a similar boat as Malcolm, as like I haven't seen as many Clint Eastwood films as I thought I had, and so I'm gonna give it a slight yes, but it's a very low yes.
You guys better say yes to this one. The list is going to get real thin real quick, and you're going to be scraping the bottom. So trust me, you better say yes to American Sniper.
Well,
Jacob, what do you thought to American Sniper?
Yeah.
I would have actually said no, because everything that's on the list so far has been on my list except for Sully, and American Sniper was my number 12. So there were other movies that I would have liked to have seen made the list, but it's already got the 3 yeses, so it doesn't really matter. Now,
well, me too, but you guys don't watch Westerns, so I can't get the 3 other Westerns on there, no matter how much I want to.
I have 2 more Westerns on my list, Austin.
I've got 1 more Western on my list. It could be good to coincide with that Western.
All right.
But with that being said, we're going to move over to Austin. What is your next movie?
That's intriguing, whether or not I should go for one of those or go for one of the more obvious ones. I'll leave it for Jacob and then let's see if we match up. For this one, I'll go with he kind of did a double feature back in 2006, 2 movies that kind of companion well to each other. I'm going to highlight Letters from Iwo Jima. I think Letters from Iwo Jima is an exceptional film. It's a film we don't get a lot, showing a different perspective of a war that we already know. This one shows us the perspective of the Japanese soldiers defending the island of Iwo Jima, and kind of we get into the minds of some of the soldiers that were kind of ripped from their homes and kind of fighting this battle, kind of unwillingly, but they kind of have to, and the Japanese that have this, no prisoners, die for your country kind of attitude. But Ken Watanabe's great as the general who's commanding them there. The war scenes are exceptionally well done, and there's some really great human stories. There's a absolutely crazy scene where these guys are committing suicide in a cave. They'd rather just die in a cave than get taken prisoner. It's a crazy movie, but it's a very, very, very well done war movie. So I will nominate Letters from Iwo Jima.
Stephen, what are your thoughts about Letters from Iwo Jima?
My opinion on Letters from Iwo Jima is very similar to the opinion I had of Tinker Tailor Soldiers from a few weeks ago when we did the spy movies. And that is, I think it's all right. It's definitely a well-made movie, but I'm definitely not high on it as a lot of people. And truth be told, I thought it was kind of dull at times. But we are kind of running out of movies. I mean, there's a few movies that I think are that we have left, but I'll give it a slight yes.
Chad, what are your thoughts on Letters from Iwo Jima?
Well, I will preface to say, unfortunately, sadly, I have not seen this one. I know it's probably not great to have not seen this one, but I really want to see it, and I have heard great things, obviously from Austin, and Rotten Tomatoes has a pretty high score on it. But also, like, I've heard some great things about this doing something that not a lot of movies do, especially like American-made films, and a film from like Clint Eastwood I wouldn't necessarily expect from him, but it shows the other side. It's not from like an American perspective. It shows the other side, and I feel like sometimes we have to do that. Film has to show the other side so that you can understand both sides and kind of like empathize. I feel like we need more of that. So I really want to check this one out.
Yeah.
Jacob, what are your thoughts on Letters from Iwo Jima?
See, I'm in the same boat as I was with American Sniper, because where American Sniper was my number 12, Letters from Iwo Jima is my number 11. And so do I fight for those ones that are above it, or I'm going to give this one a yes, because I think it shows the range of Clint Eastwood as a director and what he's able to do. Like, he can do westerns, he can do sports movies. He can do romance, and he can do war. I mean, I know we already have American Sniper, which is kind of a war movie, but this one is like a true war movie, and I think it's really well done. I love that the Blu-ray doesn't give you an option to go to like a dubbed version, like it's in Japanese, and I really enjoy that. I think it's the best way to watch any foreign movie. So yeah, I'll give it a yes. I think it's great.
And with that, it does make the list. I have no idea if I've seen the American side or the Japanese side. I know I've seen one of them. I just don't remember which one. So unfortunately, I'm going to abstain. But it's making the list anyway. And Stephen, we move to you.
All right, this one's probably not going to make it on. It's a guilty pleasure of mine that I've always enjoyed. I think Clint Eastwood has great chemistry with Charlie Sheen, and you have Raw Julia playing an over-the-top villain, and that's The Rookie. Just think it's a really fun action movie.
The Rookie, did you say?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, The Rookie.
Chad, what do you say about The Rookie?
I've not seen this at all. Yeah, okay. I think guilty pleasure probably is right looking at the reviews, but yeah.
Jacob, what are your thoughts on The Rookie?
Haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it. Austin, what are your thoughts on The Rookie?
I've seen it. No, Steven, no. Best of Eastwood, no. This movie is like so bad. It's almost like a parody movie. Like it's like a parody of buddy cop movies. Like it's not good. It's not good. No, I'm sorry, Steven. If High Plains Drifter ain't making the list, fucking The Rookie ain't making the list. Sorry. Hell no.
I respect the effort though, Steven.
Oh, I didn't expect it to make it in. I just I just thought it was a fun movie. And
but Chad, what is your next nomination?
I'm gonna go with one that is like probably the last Clint Eastwood movie that I absolutely love. I saw this when when it first came out. I was pretty young. I saw it with my dad, and it's kind of like a semi father-son kind of movie where he takes a boy under his wing. It's Gran Torino. Mm-hmm. And I think he's been trying to remake this movie somewhat. I feel like I saw Cry Macho trailer, and I was like, is that Gran
Cry
Torino
Macho really
again?
Wants to be Gran Torino. Really wants to be Gran Torino. And it's not as good.
He knows what kind of movies he wants to make. And, I feel like, a lot of the language and stuff that's used, I feel like it's rough, but I feel like in a lot of ways it just really shows his character. It just shows the progression of his character really well in this movie, where he's kind of racist, and then he meets a kid that he probably would ever think he would get along with, and then he actually has a father-son relationship with this kid, and he sacrifices pretty much everything for him. And I just really love the way this movie plays out. Like I said, I have a personal thing. I saw it with my dad, and so it's a pretty special movie. I think it was really well made, and I love this one. I really need to revisit it actually. So yeah, Gran Torino, man.
Jacob, what do you say about Gran Torino?
It's been a while since I rewatched it, but I absolutely love this movie. It's one of my favorites. Period. I love this. It's like the ultimate grumpy old white guy movie. And
literally get off my lawn. He says that line in this movie. I'm not that's what he says.
I've watched this several times, but it's been a while. I need to revisit it. So but yeah, easy yes. It's really high up on my list.
This is one I watched for the first time this week. This is what, and actually, I think this was the first one I watched in preparation for this. And this is one I actually didn't know what to expect. I thought, I'll I don't. I may not enjoy it. It was a good movie. I'm gonna say yes. It's making this list. And yeah. Austin, what do you say about Gran Torino?
Yeah, Gran Torino's on my list. Yeah, it's definitely a shoo-in for me. Chad talked about, you see, his racist tendencies and the stuff that's kind of embedded in his brain. But the cool thing about his character arc is his bond with this kid and these neighbors, and how he eventually gets past all that, and he sees people for who they are, and the kindness that these people have despite the barriers of the cultures and things like that. And and his relationship with Tao is really great, and even Tao's story about trying to battle back against this group of gang members that are trying to recruit him and trying to avoid these guys. It's a struggle, and it's crazy. And relationship with his sister is great. It's all really good. And another ending you kind of don't really see coming, that's kind of heartbreaking, but it's still a really, really solid movie. I like Gran Torino a lot, so it's definitely a yes for me.
And Stephen, what are your thoughts on Gran Torino?
It's not quite on my list, but it's like an honorable mention, but I'll still say yes, because I only have a few movies left on my list anyways, and it is a really good movie still, the ending was actually quite unexpected for me, not exactly what I was expecting from that.
But with that, we move over to Jacob. Jacob, what is your next nomination?
I'm torn. We got 2 spots left, and there's 3 movies that are still...
3 spots left. Number 9, I believe, right?
No,
10.
it's 2.
There's 2 spots? Okay.
Yeah, there's 10
Oh,
movies.
okay.
So
I didn't have Sniper on my list, so that's right. Okay, gotcha.
You know what? I'll go with this one. I will go with Changeling with Angelina Jolie. I watched that for the first time this week, and I thought her performance was really great. It's another... Clint Eastwood really likes to make heartbreaking stories. I've noticed that. Angelina Jolie plays a mom who gets called into work, and when she comes home, she realizes her son is missing. And so the police are working to find her son, and they bring a boy home who claims to be her son, but is not her son. And she's telling them that that's not my son. Like, I know that's not my son. And it's just an interesting, heartbreaking story about how she has to, kind of fight with the police to, make them realize this isn't her son, and they're just not believing her, like, and the things they put her through, and then like if you haven't seen it yet, I do highly recommend it. I think it's great. I think Angelina Jolie gives a great performance, and this is one that I think the ending is actually hopeful. So Changeling.
Yeah, this was going to be the next one I was going to bring up. This was a very heartbreaking story, and this is one I didn't know what to expect. But yeah, Changeling is just a heartbreaking story, especially like when she gets confined to the mental institution, when she keeps sort of going like, "That's not my son. I don't know who this is." It's like, just everything that she went through, just heartbreaking. And I think this is what Clint Eastwood kind of excels at, is bringing these kind of emotions out of people. I don't know if Angelina Jolie got nominated for the Oscar for this, but if she did, she should have. But yeah, this was such a great movie as it is for me. Austin, what do you say about Changeling?
Yeah, I'm looking at my list. Changeling is in the honorable mentions, but then again, High Plains Drifter was in my top 12. So I think Changeling will scoot in just because that one did not. So I'll scoot it in and say yes. I think this one's pretty solid. It's another really head trip depressing movie. It's like Clint Eastwood makes like a depressing movie, and then he makes like an uplifting movie, and then a depressing movie, then an uplifting movie. It's like, you know, a lot of these you put together, you're gonna have a really bad day. But yeah, Changeling is really good. It's probably one of Jolie's better performances in her later part of her career. So yeah, I'll go yes for Changeling, sure.
Stephen, what do you say about Changeling?
Well, it's making it end, so, but I probably would have said no only because there's only two spots left. I do think it's a good movie, and it's in my honorable mentions, but I would have said no, but it's in anyways, so.
And Chad, what do you say about Changeling?
Yeah, I think I'll mirror Steven here because like my opinion doesn't super matter on this one. So I'll just give my real thoughts. I saw this, believe it or not, I used to work at Blockbuster. I saw this when it came out at Blockbuster and I checked it out. And I don't know, I don't think I was probably at the right age or really mindset for like actually like watching this one because I didn't really care about it all that much. But I am a huge fan of like the Changeling lore and like horror films that have done this, like, you know, The Changeling and Hole in the Ground. And honestly, I kind of want to revisit this one, but I was just looking at the runtime and I'm like, Angelina Jolie saying that's not my son for 2.5 hours. Like, does it really earn that runtime? So I don't know if it does.
Yeah.
But okay. You say so.
Because it's not 2.5 hours of her saying it's not my son. Like they resolve that.
It's like an investigation. All right.
Yeah, and then then there's a court and trial scene, and so yeah.
All right, fair enough.
I'll check it out.
But yeah, it's on me. I've got one spot left, and I've got 3 movies I want to bring up. One I know definitely probably won't bring on. One's kind of a guilty pleasure for me, but I know it's a bad movie, and the others, the Western I was talking about. I'm going to go for the Western, see if this syncs up to. One of the last movies that I watched for this list is Pale Rider. This is a movie that when I saw, it's like, this was in the same year that I was born, so of course I was going to watch it anyway at some stage. But this is a really interesting one, and I'm not one of those people who likes a lot of westerns, especially when it comes to the older pre-90 westerns. But I found myself kind of entranced by Pale Rider. This is one that I really enjoyed, and Clint Eastwood does a great performance in this. I don't actually recognize it. I don't think any of the other actors in this are of note. I think Clint Eastwood's probably the big actor. I think the other ones are kind of lesser known people. I don't know what else is kind of done, if anything. But Austin, what do you say about Pale Rider?
Oh man, I'm torn on this one because there's a better Western that I would bring up than Pale Rider. Pale Rider is honestly in my lower half of Eastwood's oeuvre of Westerns. I can't do it. There's a better one I'd rather nominate, so I'm going to say no. Pale Rider's all right, but it's just a retelling of Shane, and Shane's better. So I'm going to say no.
Stephen, what do you say about Pale Rider?
I only had time to watch one movie today, and it ended up being Richard Jewell. This was one of the other ones that I was thinking about watching today, but I didn't get around to it.
Chad, what do you say about Pale Rider?
Just like Steven, when I was trying to be like, all right, I got a lot I haven't seen. He's done a lot of Westerns. I threw them all out, and I was like, all right, do I want to watch a Western right now? And I was like, all right, I've seen Unforgiven. He did not direct The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, so what do I do? And then I'm like, all these titles sound like very similar to me. They're all similarly ranked on Rotten Tomatoes. So I'm like, I don't know where to go with these. So I did not have time to get to this one. I'm going to watch like all the ones that he's directed, but unfortunately just didn't have time.
And with that, it's not going to make the list anyway. But Jacob, have you seen Pale Rider?
I have actually, and I enjoyed it. It was good. It was one of the two westerns I mentioned that were on my list. However, this one is lower than the other one that's still on my list. So because of that reason, I would have said no. But had something like Sully or American Sniper not made the list, I would have given it a yes. But unfortunately, the other one I have is higher. So.
But with that, we move over to Austin. Austin, what is your next nomination?
All right, I'm going to try to get another Western. Maybe it's the one Jacob's talking about, so I'm hoping so. Outlaw Josie Wales. Outlaw Josie Wales is my other pick. So I'm going to roll my shot for Outlaw Josie Wales and see. 3 years after High Plains Drifter, he makes this one where he's being tracked by some Confederate soldiers that basically slaughter his family. So he's kind of being tracked, but then he kind of goes on the offensive and starts to track them down and hunt them down. It's just a good old-fashioned revenge movie set around the time of the Civil War with these Confederate soldiers. It's a brutal movie, but that's kind of the ones I like, is the brutal Clint Eastwood style westerns. I don't really like the John Wayne kind of cutesy, I'm just going to punch you in the face westerns. I like ones where dudes are getting gunned down left and right. That's my bag. And Outlaw Josie Wales is in my upper echelon of westerns, so I'm going to nominate that one for the final spot.
Stephen, what do you say about the Outlaw Josie Wales?
Unfortunately, it is the same situation with Pale Rider. And between Pale Rider and Outlaw Josie Wales, I probably was going to go with Pale Rider just because it's slightly shorter. And I think I like the idea of a lone stranger coming into town. Even though I usually like revenge stories, Pale Rider just sounded a little more interesting to me. But like Pale Rider, I didn't get around to seeing
it. Chad, what are your thoughts of the Outlaw Josie Wales?
Hey, I mean, exactly what Steven kind of said there. You cannot underestimate a really great shorter runtime. A lot of times that can make a decision here. I know there's a lot of great long movies, but if you see that short runtime,
funny, High Plains Drifter was the shortest of the three that have been brought up, but y'all all said no to that one. But okay,
it's also not streaming.
The shortest one at 145.
The other two are streaming on HBO Max.
Physical media, Steven. Buy the damn Blu-ray. Physical media.
Haven't seen it. Abstain. Sorry.
And I mean, I just don't buy physical media for movies I've not seen. I don't want to risk wasting my money on something and not liking it.
You should see my collection.
Malcolm is fiscally responsible.
But Jacob, is Outlaw Josie Wales the other western on your list?
It is the other western on my list. I absolutely love this movie. It was a great revenge story. I think, yeah. Everything Austin said, I'm going to echo 100%. I think Clint Eastwood is fantastic in this movie. And yeah, just the gunfights are all really well done. And yeah, I'm much like Austin. I don't like the westerns where, hey, I'm gonna punch you in the face. No, I'm gonna gun you down. I'm gonna gun you down.
Don't call me a yellow belly. I'm gonna punch you in the jaw. Like, no, I'm just gonna shoot you in the mouth. Yeah, no, those are my kind of westerns.
And I liked the ending because Josie Wales, he goes back to the I don't know if it was it a bar, Austin? I can't remember right now.
Something like that, yeah, like a saloon or whatever, yeah.
And one of the guys that's looking for him. I'm sorry to spoil a 40-year-old movie, but one of the guys that's looking for him is there, and he watches him ride off, and I'm like, where does this go? And I kind of like that. You're left wondering, like,
wherever you want it to go, it's ambiguous.
Yeah. So I like that. I like that ending. But yeah, this was the other one, and it's gonna get a yes from me.
So unfortunately, it's not making the list. I've not seen Outlaw Josie Wales. Well, to be fair, I laid it in my hand earlier. I said I've got one rest on my list, which was Pale Rider.
I swear to God, if Play Misty for me makes this list, I'll protest the show for a year.
I saw that pretty high in a lot of lists of people ranking these movies. Actually,
I got one other movie on my list that I would die on, and the rest are like whatever. So we'll see.
I mean, if like honestly, if Outlaw Josie Wells was streaming something, I probably would have watched it because it's one I've heard a lot about and intrigued by.
You guys gotta get HBO Max.
It's in New Zealand.
Yeah.
New Zealand, we don't have HBO Max. Full stop.
Yeah,
I know. We could have seen like half of these. Yeah, on HBO Max.
Oh yeah, because there is talk. I know that it's expanding into more European countries this year. It's still not expanding to us.
Wow.
But anyway, Stephen, we move over to you.
I'll go with. I still have a few left on my list. I'll go with The Perfect World, which Eastwood actually kind of takes a backseat. The main leads are Kevin Costner and the little boy, and I really enjoyed the chemistry that develops between those two, and I think it's a pretty good movie, and I liked it a lot. So I'll go with The Perfect World.
Chad, have you seen A Perfect World?
I've seen part of it. As you guys saw in the chat, I wanted to watch this one. I started it. Very poor quality on YouTube, unfortunately. I kind of want to actually maybe get the Blu-ray or something like that and actually watch this one properly in high definition, like it probably should be watched now. Unfortunately, I got like 30 minutes in. I was very intrigued about seeing the little Jehovah's Witness kid get kidnapped and seeing where that was going to go and stuff like that. And I was very interested to see that the actor who plays the vampire hunter Holtz on Angel was one of the actors in this. That was pretty cool. Unfortunately, I just didn't get too far into this. I can't really say yay or nay on this one. I want to actually watch it.
Jacob, what is your thoughts on A Perfect World?
Yeah, despite being the one to share the link in the chat, I did not actually get time to watch it. Apparently, I was only able to watch 4 movies today, not 5. So,
at the time the link was posted in the chat, I was busy in the middle of our Oscar nomination predictions, so I haven't had a chance to watch A Perfect World either. Austin, have you seen A Perfect World?
Yeah, but sorry, Steven. This is another one it's fine. It's fine. It's got some good things going for it. I think Costner's good. I think the kid actor's actually okay. But the whole thing just feels a little sloppy. I think there's a lot of sloppy choreography and direction in this one, especially coming off of Unforgiven. I'm not sure what went wrong in this one. I think all the acting's really good, but I don't think the direction is some of his best direction. So it's all right. It's a decent watch. This movie is definitely one that's way too long for the material. It's like 2 hours and 20 minutes, and it needs to be like 95, 100 minutes tops, and it's way too long. I don't think it has enough material to last. That's just my opinion.
Chad, what is your next nomination?
All right, I'm gonna go for this one. This one I actually did watch for this for the first time. It's one I've seen like the poster of for a very long time, and was like finally like this might be a movie that I really enjoy, and it's like a political thriller. I'm going with In the Line of Fire.
He did not direct that.
He didn't direct it.
You didn't really?
No.
Are you sure?
I know, because I like that movie a lot. Yeah.
I would have nominated it for sure.
Just trust me, I would have nominated that one 100% if he had directed it, but it's Wolfgang Peterson.
Didn't.
Sorry.
Yeah, I was looking on Wikipedia and I was like,
sometimes if he's just in it, they'll list it as something, or if he produced it, or if he has some good.
Since I watched this one for it, even though he didn't direct it, check this movie out. It's a great honorable.
It's a good movie.
Because,
it's a good movie.
He has some of the lines that I love. That I was like, whoa, okay. You can have a rendezvous with my ass, motherfucker, and I'll be thinking of that when I'm pissing on your grave.
I mean, the best thing about that movie is John Malkovich.
I agree. Yeah, he's amazing in the movie. Anyways, We'll go with another directed movie then. Sorry about that. Okay. I'm grasping at straws, but I will go with Invictus. I think that he directed it, right?
Yes.
Okay. So he directed Invictus. Going on. Yeah, all of these ones. This is my next one logically that I could go with since I'm not a big Western fan. I think this had like a really great performance. Morgan Freeman as Nelson Mandela, Matt Damon as the South African player. There's like a lot of racism in it, but because this takes place during like apartheid and all that stuff. But I feel like it was just like a really good story. I honestly haven't seen it in a very long time, so I don't have too much to say about it. But I know this one is a pretty big favorite from a lot of people, and I remember really enjoying it when I seen it, and I really need to revisit this one. But I'll go with Invictus.
Jacob, what do you say about Invictus?
I tried to watch as many movies as I could this week, and this wasn't one of them.
You'd think that me being a Kiwi had seen Invictus, considering that the All Blacks make an appearance in this movie. I've not. It's been one that I've been meaning to get to eventually, but it's just, one, not streaming anywhere that I could, and I just didn't have time to go out and actually hire out DVDs for this one. But awesome. What do you say about Invictus?
I've seen Invictus. Boy, did I! I'm pretty sure I fell asleep several times watching it in the theater. Boy, is this movie bland. This movie's like toast. Look, Morgan Freeman's good. I would have rather have seen just a straight up Nelson Mandela thing. Just about with Morgan Freeman playing Nelson Mandela. This movie wants to be like 3 different movies. It wants to be a Nelson Mandela biopic. It wants to be a political apartheid movie, and it wants to be a rugby movie. It doesn't need to be all 3. It's like I just wanted to kind of pick one and stick with it. And because of that, I think the movie suffers. I just don't think it's as good as some people make it out to be. To me, I wasn't into it. So I apologize, Chad, but I don't like Invictus.
Hey, no
so I have to say no. I don't think it's horrible or anything, but it's boring. I think it's kind of boring, just to me personally. And I don't care about rugby.
Stephen, what are your thoughts on Invictus?
I would have said yes. I don't think it's a great movie, but I think it's a pretty good movie. It's basically standard issue sports movie with some social relevance to it, and I enjoyed it on that. And I think Morgan Freeman and Matt Damon are both very good in it. So I don't think it makes it in, but I would have said yes.
But with that, Jacob, what is your next nomination if you've got one?
I have seen 13 movies directed by Clint Eastwood, and almost all of them have been brought up except for one. And I don't really. I'm not going to nominate it because it's a terrible movie. It's the 1517 to Paris. I'm not going to. I'm not going to nominate it. So I will just.
There's one that rhymes with Smags of Our Smothers. You should probably nominate that.
If I had seen it, I would. It sounds really good. So I'm just going to abstain until we get to the actual ranking part.
Oh, I forget you can do that.
But with that, I've got 2 left. One I will actually bring up. The other one is Jersey Boys. When Chad was talking about political thrillers, I thought he was going to go this way, because I'm bringing up Absolute Power. This one was actually directed by Clint Eastwood. It's got Ed Harris, Gene Hackman. But this is a movie that I like. Once again, this is one of those ones I watched for the first time this week. This is one I didn't know what to expect, but this is just a really interesting one because deals with this whole master thief breaking into a billionaire's place, and then is forced to hide on arrival of the president's on someone's wife being on a drunken rendezvous with the president. And this is just an interesting movie, but it's one of those ones that I think really shows a lot of politics and stuff. But yeah, I'm really bad at describing movies I've just discovered. But Austin, what are your thoughts on Absolute Power?
I think Absolute Power is a vastly inferior In the Line of Fire. I think it's an okay like Sunday afternoon watch. It's got Clint and Gene Hackman. It's fine, but boy, is this movie slow, and it's a slog, and it takes forever to get going. And when the high points of the movie are Clint Eastwood trying to do like a foot chase, no, I don't want to watch Clint Eastwood running around after somebody. I don't think it's particularly. I think it's fine, but I would probably say no to Absolute Power. It's all right.
Stephen, what do you say about Absolute Power?
I actually enjoyed it, but I'm going to say no since there's one last spot left, and there is at least one really good solid movie left. Absolute Power is very similar to another movie that I'll probably mention on my when we do honorable mentions, and that it is a perfectly solid workman-like thriller.
And Chad, what would you have said about Absolute Power?
Yeah, you brought it up, and then I looked up the reviews and stuff like that just to see like, is that the one I should have watched instead of In the Line of Fire? And then I was like, well, the reviews maybe say no, and then Austin confirmed it that maybe no. But one day I might watch it just to see for myself. But I have to abstain. Haven't seen it.
Hey man, I'm a huge fan of 24, and both Dennis Haysbert and Penny Johnston-Gerald are both in this, so that was cool for me.
Not a fan.
But Austin, what was your next nomination?
Flags of Our Fathers, the compliment to Letters from Iwo Jima. It's got to be that. Come on, it's the compliment to Letters from Iwo Jima. They make a great double feature because they go right together. It's basically you can watch one and then watch the other because Flags of Our Fathers follows the actual 6 guys who raised the flag at Iwo Jima and kind of how it's almost how unspectacular it was because the battle is so bloody and so kind of depressing and so brutal that the raising of the flag was not this rah-rah, Americana moment. It was just kind of like a thing that happened. It's very symbolic and very cool, but I think, this movie kind of reminds us that it was in the middle of a lot of these guys getting slaughtered left and right. It's in the middle of this brutal thing where these guys are losing their friends, to the left of them, guys getting just absolutely blown away. But again, it reduces it down to a smaller story, much like Letters from Iwo Jima follows a couple of the newer Japanese soldiers. This one just follows the guys that are kind of going into that battle and who end up raising the flag. But and again, shows us the brutality of war. It works. It's right alongside with Iwo Jima. I think it's a perfect ending to this one. So hopefully it gets a yes, but we'll see.
Stephen, what do you say about Flags of Our Fathers?
That will be a yes for me. I actually liked it more than Letters from Iwo Jima. I just thought it was more involving and compelling to me than Letters from Iwo Jima.
Chad, what do you say about Flags of Our Fathers?
This one I also have not seen, but boy, do I want to. I want to see that and Iwo Jima. Do
a double feature, man. It works.
It
one after the
great.
other.
I really want to now. What Austin said about it, though, really makes me just think about, exactly, sometimes you don't always think about what goes into something and, all the bloodshed, and then you see, a statue, and they make it seem, they romanticize things a lot of the times with these statues sometimes, and you're just was it worth it? So, that's a really good point. It makes me really want to check out this movie, but, I have to abstain.
Can I give it a yes just because of the cast?
Yeah, the cast is awesome.
I really like this.
The cast is full of tons of people. There's it's Ryan Felipe, Barry Pepper, Jesse Bradford, Adam Beach, who was in Wind Talkers as one of the Navajo. Yeah, John Slater, Jamie Bell, Paul Walker, Robert Patrick, Neil Begana. Everybody is somebody in this movie. Everybody is somebody in this movie.
I mean, the one thing I was going to actually say, because me and Jacob have made it clear that we've kind of reached the end of our once we're actually going to nominate, we're completely out of this anyway. So because 2 out of the 3 people who, out of the remaining 3 people got 2 yes votes for us making this list. Otherwise, we could keep going around in circles trying to find something. Everyone's seen
it. Ain't gonna be J. Edgar. That movie sucks.
Can we renominate Josie Wales?
Yes, please. Or High Plains Drifter, please. Yeah. All right. Okay, here we go.
Austin, what other honorable mentions did you have?
None. That was all of them. Because I'm not nominating Play Misty for Me, where he plays a DJ. Oh, this one goes out to Misty. This poem right here. Ooh. No, terrible movie. Cry Macho, not good. J. Edgar, not good. No.
Stephen, did you have any honorable mentions left?
I mean, there's a few that are decent. Like, I actually did enjoy Bloodwork. True Crime was okay. And then there's one that I don't think is that good, but it has its moments. Hereafter has some good moments.
Chad, did you have any honorable mentions?
I mean, I squeaked The Mule on my list, but I don't even think that's really that great of a movie either. But it was like one that kind of was like, if I have to, I'll nominate that one, I guess.
It's an okay dad matinee.
Right. I definitely want to watch a lot of his war films and his Western films, though, because I feel like next time I would have a lot of honorable mentions. So, but no, unfortunately.
Yeah, no. As I said, this one honorable mention I had was Jersey Boys. But I mean, I had a feeling everyone might have said yes to it, but I just didn't want to risk it. But if we're going to actually rank this, so obviously we start off with 12. Austin, what movie do you think should be 12?
I will go Bridges of Madison County for number 12.
Stephen, what do you have for 12?
Letters from Iwo Jima.
Jacob, what did you have for 12?
Just because I hadn't seen it, I went Sully.
Chad, what do you have for 12?
I'm throwing down American Sniper for this one.
So, we're in a 5-way tie. I put change.
Yeah.
What are the options again?
So there's Bridges of Madison County, Liz the Irujima, Changeling, American Sniper.
I mean, I don't know if this is okay with your procedure, but
I mean, if you want to change your vote, do it, because otherwise I'm going to bring up a wheel. So
sure, I'll change mine to Changeling.
Oh, come on.
And this is where Jacob reveals that was his number 1.
No, it was like number 6.
Changeling's better than Bridges of Madison County. Yeah. All right.
Stephen, what do you have for 11?
Well, I didn't change. Letters from Iwo Jima.
Jacob.
I haven't changed either.
Chad.
Yeah, American Sniper. I haven't changed either.
Austin.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I ain't changing. Bridges of Madison County.
I did change, but it's not going to help it if you up a Gran Torino.
Gran Torino. Holy shit. This is gonna be well. It's funny because there's a lot of Eastwood movies that are like right in the middle. It's like I think there's a couple that are his best, and then it's like
Hey, Carrie, jump
everything
in the
else.
chat. Carrie, jump in the chat.
You know, since if everyone's okay, since American Sniper was my actual number 12, I'd be okay with it being the next one.
Yep.
I'm fine with that.
I mean, I don't have a problem with people changing their mind while I'm setting up the reel because it means I don't have to worry about setting up the reel.
Yeah.
I'll change
I'll
to
change
Sniper.
my
That's
vote,
fine. Sniper's fine. Sniper's fine. I'm not that passionate about American Sniper.
But Chad, what do you have for 10?
I'll throw out Sully as a good number 10.
Jacob.
I shouldn't. Hold on. I changed it. I changed it.
He hasn't showed it yet.
Because I thought maybe I was fighting a losing battle with it, but I'll change it back to Sully.
I probably am finding a losing battle with Gran Torino. I don't know. Austin. what do you
Yeah. No, I'll go Sully on this one. That's fine. It's fine
And
for Sully.
Stephen.
Well, I changed since it looked like I was in fighting a losing battle before, so I changed it to the not great but very enjoyable Space Cowboys.
Sully is going to be 10. But Jacob, what do you have for 9?
I didn't want to write out the whole title, so I just wrote Bridges.
Yeah.
Bridges of Madison County.
I'm sticking with Gran Torino. Austin.
You're gonna be sticking with Gran Torino for a while. Bridges of Madison County.
Stephen.
I'll go. Oh no, yeah, I'll go back to Letters from Iwo Jima.
Chad.
A very unfortunate, Steven, because I'm down with Space Cowboys just because I haven't seen it.
Yeah, that just means they would have tied. So.
Yes, but I would have got to make the decision. So.
We know Malcolm loves romance, so we know how that would have went down. Oh yeah, I got it right.
Well, I mean, I see it also with Space Kids. I said I think I've seen it before. I'm not too sure. So that. But Bridges is going to be at 9. But moving on to 8, I've still got Gran Torino. Austin.
I'm going 8. Seems like a nice spot for a little Space Cowboys.
Stephen.
All right, I'll go back to Space Cowboys.
Chad.
Same, yeah, Space Cowboys. I probably would have went Bridges after this, but it doesn't matter.
Jacob.
Yeah.
I just went with the other one I haven't seen, Flags of Our Fathers.
But Space Cowboys it is. Eventually you'll get the sequel named Maurice, but
I don't hate that because that's actually number 7 on my personal list. So number 8 here is, I'll take it.
But Austin, what do you have for 7?
Flags of Our Fathers.
Stephen.
I'll go with Gran Torino.
Jacob.
Flags of Our Fathers.
Chad.
Yep, Flags.
Okay.
Flags.
Gran Torino.
Oh, what's left?
Oh boy.
All right, left is $1 Million Baby, Richard Jewell, Unforgiven, Mystic River, Letters from Iwo Jima, and Gran Torino.
Oh boy, that's a list. Okay.
But Chad, what do you have for 6?
This probably won't happen, but I still do think the 2 war films should stick together. Iwo Jima.
Yes.
Jacob.
Iwo Jima.
Gran Torino. Austin.
No, I agree, Chad. Right next to each other. Iwo Jima. Right next to each other.
And Steven.
All right, letters from Iwo Jima.
There you go. They're right next to each other. They go right together. There you go.
Top 5.
All right.
Gran Torino hasn't been is still on the list, right?
It's still available, yes.
Correct.
It's $1 Million Baby, Richard
Yeah.
Jewell, Unforgiven, Mystic River, Gran Torino.
I would have changed my vote. I would have changed my vote if Gran Torino had this come off. But Jacob, what do you have for 5?
Richard Jewell.
I'm sticking with Gran Torino. Austin.
Let's go, Jacob. Richard Jewell.
Steven.
Letters from me. Oh no, we did letters. No, Gran Torino. Gran
Chad.
Torino.
Movie. I think Gran Torino is a good 5, personally.
Oh,
Gran Torino.
damn.
Sorry, y'all.
That's my number 3.
That's like my number
It's
2.
a great 3 too, but
This
these
is
are all
my
great movies in this top 5. I think.
well, my 1, 2, and 3 are all movies that I've actually seen multiple times. So I have a hard time ranking movies that I've only seen once.
Unforgiven, Mr. River. Oh,
$1 Million Baby, Richard Jewell, Unforgiven, and Mystic River are the last 4.
this is tough. All right.
But for number 4, I have Mystic River. Austin.
Richard Jewell. The other 3 are better.
Steven.
$1 Million Baby.
Chad.
Yeah, I think Richard Jewell is a pretty good 4. So
Yep.
Well, I mean, I figured Jacob had Richard Jewell anyway, so it wasn't
Yes.
too much of a surprise.
oh,
And that is actually my number 1. So
That was my number
okay.
3.
I
So
loved
hey,
it.
it's an okay, it's a fine spot.
On the rewatch it might go higher, but like I said, the ones I had above it,
no, that's entirely fair. Austin, what do you have for 3?
Mystic River.
Steven.
I'm keeping $1 Million Baby.
Chad.
same page as Austin, Mystic River.
Oh,
Jacob.
I went Unforgiven.
I went Mystic River. So Jacob, Mystic River, or the other one, or $1 Million Baby.
Oh, so we're writing our number 1, right? For this one?
No,
Chad, what did you vote for?
Mystic River made it.
Chad,
Oh.
you voted Mystic River,
Really?
right?
yes, I did.
Yeah,
For some
it was-
reason I
it
thought it
was-
was 2-2, but never mind.
Oh,
Yeah.
Mystic River was my number 1.
Now we do the number 1.
Yes, now you do number 1.
Mystic River was my number 2.
Nice.
Austin, what is your number 1?
Westerns for the win, Unforgiven.
Steven.
I'm not huge on westerns, but I do love Unforgiven.
Chad.
This is a freaking perfect top 2. So if the other one makes it, which it might, I'm perfectly happy with that. But I had to put my favorite $1 Million Baby.
Jacob.
Ooh, it's gonna all come all down to Malcolm.
Yep. my personal number one was already taken off. So I so my number two moved up, and that is $1 Million Baby.
Oh, come on. He's a Western guy. Clint Eastwood's a Western guy. Come on, he's a cowboy. How dare you?
Hey, I mean,
He has range.
If it was Clint Eastwood acted movies, a Western probably would have been number one.
I need John Rocco on this panel to back me up on the Westerns. Come on now. Jesus. Need some more Western fans on this panel.
Maybe someday I'll do Westerns, and maybe I'll probably will invite Rocco on for that.
My whole list will be Clint Eastwood Westerns, because most of the other ones are shit, other than Django, the original.
I mean, Clint Eastwood Westerns could be listed on its own.
Yeah.
But that being said, just to recap the top 12, at number 12 we've got Changeling, at 11 we've got American Sniper, at 10 we've got Sully, at 9 we've got The Bridges of Madison County, at 8 we've got Space Cowboys, at 7 we've got Flags of Our Fathers, at 6 we've got Letters from Irujima, at 5 we've got Gran Torino, at 4 we've got Richard Jewell, at 3 we've got Mystic River, at 2 we've got Unforgiven, and number 1 we've got $1 Million Baby.
Good list.
Great list.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what the poll people tomorrow when I put the poll up tomorrow.
They'll be quiet because it's a great list.
They'll be saying, "Where's the outlaw Josie Wales?"
It's okay. They're
just going to say this list needs more Westerns, and I'll agree with them. So yeah.
But that being said, the poll for what you want next week's topic to be is already up. Go vote on it. Awesome. Where can people find you online?
A lot of places, man, but mainly the Movie Hero Network. You can find, it's officially called the Movie Hero Network now, so you can search that on YouTube. Find all of our shows, tournament fights, tier ranker fights, and Jacob's shows, which I'll let him plug, so I'll skip that and let him plug that one and go to my other show, Let's Rank Stuff with Henry Confidential. We just did Edgar Wright films, and this week we'll be doing Alien versus Predator, both franchises into one ranking. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Steven, where can people find you online?
Letterboxd at sshepard82, and all around. I'll be on the tournament fights over at Movie Hero on Friday with the One Location one, and that's all I can remember at the moment.
Chad, where can people find you online?
Yeah, I'm over at Letterboxd, Twitter, Chadwick Webb. I do a lot of things. I'm trying new stuff. I've been on Austin's show. I did that new game that they're trying out, which is really fun.
Top 12 Frenzy. It's a lot of fun. Come join us. Malcolm's done that one too. Fun. So is Jake. Everybody here's done it. It's fun.
Yep. And then I'm over at TMG a lot. I do a lot of trivia over there when I can. And then I also do a lot of movie battlegrounds, judging and trying to play and stuff. That's a lot of fun. Check it out. And then I also I have my own channel over at YouTube. Over at YouTube, right? Chadwick Webb is how you can find it. I rank stuff not as frequently as like Henry and Austin do, but I have my own Edgar Wright ranking over there. I got a Christmas one and then a Harry Potter one. I finally need to upload at some point. But my main thing is I do over at the Dill Pickle Movie Network. It's my buddy Dylan Randazzo. He runs that channel. He's got a lot of great stuff over there. But we do Picture This as our big show that we do, and every month we go through a year of the Oscars. We talk about the nominees, the winners. We talk about all of them. We rank them. We talk about the ceremonies itself. And then we talk about the actors and actresses from like that pool of films. We nominate one each. And then, so this month we're doing 1967 in honor of Sidney Poitier's death and Black History Month. He did a couple films there. Next month we're doing the Oscars, so it's 2021 films. And then last month we actually did 1980. We had a lot of people's favorite critic, Dan Skip Allen, on, and that was really fun. He had a lot of opinions. He had a hot take in there, and it was a really great time talking to him. So that's a really fun show. Check it out. Sorry for talking so long. Thank you, Malcolm.
Jacob, where can people find you online?
My movie Battleground match with Will Cohen just dropped over on TMG. Check it out. It's a pretty good match, if I do say so myself. I'll just leave it at that. I'm not going to say whether I won or lost. I will just say it's really good, and I think people should watch it. Over at the Movie Hero Network, me and Austin have a podcast about movies. Tomorrow, we will be doing our next episode. We're going to be giving tomorrow at 5 Eastern, 2 Pacific. We'll be talking about going A to Z and just giving some movie recommendations. A to Z and a number pick. So check out for that. And I've also I just floated around an idea that might be coming soon. It's called the 5x5. I'm calling it, where there will be a specific topic such as actors under 25, and you'll rank your top 5 actors under 25. But with those top 5, you'll also give a sub top 5 where you will give like your top 5 favorite movies from each actor. So so that'll be I don't know when that'll be coming, but it'll be coming, and so that should be fun.
And for me, you can find me all over the place, really. Probably at everywhere people have been mentioning already. I believe I'm on Jim Carrey movies this week, I think it is.
This Tuesday is, T-Recker Fights Jim Carrey movies. So we'll be putting the 10 in the S tier and A, B, C, D, F. I watched Dark Crimes for that. My thoughts on that coming. Oh, boy. What a piece of garbage.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, but not really. Look at the Rotten Tomatoes. 0. Yeah, I watched it. Also, I'm a glutton for punishment.
But you can also find me over on Take 3 hosting Rankum. Late Night will be coming back probably next week. We're probably going to be talking about the Oscar nominations, maybe. I don't know. Haven't decided. It will be back eventually, I know that much. But you can also find me over on Full Metal, where I host Full Metal Random each week. This week's match is going to be all about the Kingdom Hearts video game franchise. And we've got Kelly Meehan competing. We've got Brandon Rutledge, and we've got Tyler Birch. So it should be a really fun match, and yeah. But until next time, keep listening, shit. So I put my microphone down to go here.